You know they'll miss you, sweet lady. You know my silky baby. Welcome, everyone. It's wonderful to see all of you. Some new faces. Sweet. I hope you can hear the music. We're going to let it play. I don't hear the music, Pamela, either. We were playing some music just to let everybody get in and get settled. Just give us a moment.
Yeah, the music has stopped.
Then let's get started, Talia. Are you ready? Whenever you're ready. I can't hear you, Talia, if you're talking. You're muted.
Yes. Hello, everyone. Greetings. Sawadika. Sawadika. What an enormous pleasure to be with you today. I'm born in the land of smiles, Thailand. Behind me is our glorious Jalpriya River that has blessed us with incredible fertility, beauty, and thriving commerce. My name is Talaya Pornpir Chai, your empathy architect. We are so thrilled to be sharing our love for finding inspiration in every encounter, be it with one another, our animal friends, our breathtaking nature, and the ancient elements that make up our magnificent Mother Earth. Empathy Architects is a lifestyle platform for anyone seeking to expand their consciousness towards a life that is more compassionate and rich with meaningful connections. In a world that is increasingly unsettling, become the beacon of purposeful strength. shining inspiration, and loving motivation. And to do this, we are to start from within, working in a circle. In a sacred manner, we heal and develop ourselves, our relationships, and our world. This is what my spiritual elder, Hereditary Chief Phil Lane Jr., always teaches me. In my life, there are only a few human beings that I know possess a heart so noble and generous, and he's one of them. I have him to be grateful for many reasons and occasions, and this time in particular is for being the catalyst that led me to my life purpose in bloom. EmpathyArchitects.life is an online lifestyle platform for those wanting to shift towards wholesome, connected living, building a future through holistic worldview inspired by ancient indigenous wisdom. So let's begin the new year by finding your song. Like a singing mist, the soft and enchanting voice of Gail Thomas has always captivated me. Her gentle melodies can take you places beyond the ordinary and unveiling the magic of the sound resonance and unlocking your greater potential. One who helps others listen for their song. A singer is sometimes a healer with the songs. And so it is our great pleasure to present to you her love for ancestral Saliki songs from the dream world in a series of transformational sessions. Gail Thomas.
Thank you, Talia. That's beautiful. And it's been so beautiful and wonderful working with you on this website and on these offerings that you've curated so sweetly. And I just want to jump right in and get started. If Dekshi comes and wants to offer prayer, of course, we'll respond immediately to that. So it doesn't matter what's going on. If he shows up and wants to open a prayer for us, we will do that at that time. But for now, I want to honor Martin Luther King and all of his work for the collective, for helping us become more human. And I want to honor Carl Jung, whose teachings guide me as well as my ancestral ways, because Jung's empirical science that involves dream work and psychology as it is today, in particular depth psychology, but all of our psychology originated with our ancestral medicine ways, more popularly called shamanic ways now, but that's not our word. So when we go back to those original teachings, it all started when the Europeans were able to travel to this continent and to many other continents and see the original indigenous healing medicine ways. They, at that time, were following the time of Socrates and were only treating the body for illness. So when they started to see the way our medicine people worked with the spirit, and it's our Salagi ancestral belief that illness begins in the spirit. So Carl Jung's teachings and his empirical science, now that means if you do the same thing, you'll get the same results every time. So that's how he brought the dream work and the collective unconscious that we're working with today, and that Martin Luther King influenced so heavily in his time. That's how he brought all of this in to the allopathic psychiatry system, which is not an easy one to get anything into. So I want to tell you a story that demonstrates Carl Jung's work and Martin Luther King's work at the same time. In the beautiful speech, I Have a Dream, Martin Luther King was going along in a very powerful way. And you can watch the videos. There's a 6-minute video and a 17-minute video on YouTube, and you can see the shift. There's a huge shift, and there's a cutaway right before the shift. And leading up to the shift, you can see the power rising and things getting just a little bit restless. And when they reached a point of discomfort, Mahalia Jackson was sitting close to the podium because she had been singing. And Martin Luther King stopped talking. He didn't know what to do, I guess. When things were getting restless, he was a little concerned, and she called out to him, "Tell them about your dream." And that's when the cutaway to the Lincoln Memorial, and then it comes back, and it's a total shift in energy when he starts talking about his dream. And that's what the inner feminine and the feminine in our world does for the collective. That's what we do at our highest and best. We take a man into his inner power and connect him securely with his inner power. And that allows him to take that inner power out to the collective unconscious and influence the movements. In particular, this movement that we're all involved in now is so critical. Now, the feminine at her worst is a seductress that has power over a man and disconnects him from that inner power. So we want to become aware of this, and our soul will guide us in these ways of depth psychology. And you're all welcome to do dream work with me also in any way that you choose to, as well as through these classes with Empathy Architect. It's the voice of the soul. The only time the ego mind is quiet and doing the job that it's designed to do, which is to interpret and cultivate awareness. The only time it's quiet is when we're asleep. And that's when the soul can speak in its language of image and symbol. And so then we have to help each other interpret that language into what is meaningful for us today. And so that's a lot of what we're going to be doing with these songs that come to me through the dream world, completely from the soul in the language of symbol and image, so that we can share our ancestral Salagi teachings in this way. And the dances begin with a journey for guidance, and then a shamanic drumming that I send to Gabri Tosti in the UK. And he adds some space rock magic to the music for the dances. And this originated with Jimi Hendrix when he started playing the guitar in ways I've never heard before. This is the origin of space rock, and then Pink Floyd, and it goes from there. But today, first thing I want to do is honor Martin Luther King. And I've asked some friends to help me do that. So at this time, I would like to ask Russell if he would share a few words from his heart about Martin Luther King's influence on his life, or really whatever he would like to say for 3 or 4 minutes today about Martin Luther King.
Thank you. Hello and greetings, everyone. There's a lot to say.
Turn your video on. Can we see you?
Can you see me?
No,
Hold on.
turn your video on. We'd love to see you too.
No, you wouldn't. Tell me.
There you are. There you are. Thank you.
I'm outside by my water.
It's beautiful, and I know you've been helping your daughter move all week. So.
Oh man, that's been work. Yeah. So, what I've received, just recently is that, there's this energy or this movement. and it's forgotten. And there's so many that were forgotten, like Martin Luther King. He was fighting for justice, but he was fighting in terms of unity. Like we can all join hands and sing. But there have been thousands and thousands and thousands more that, and those that we haven't even known, no one's ever heard of. They also fought and died. There's those that we know of, like Mahatma Gandhi, the Dalai Lama, Nelson Mandela. I mean, and it goes on and on. But what I want to say is that this is in all of us. This, at whatever capacity. Dr. Martin Luther King said it. Says whatever it is you do, do it well. And he says that, you know, if you can fly, fly. If you can't fly, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But most of all, keep moving. So there we have it.
Yes.
Sorry.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Russell. And our Indigenous ways are riding on the coattails of the Black Lives Matters movement. And Russell reminded me how sad it is that we needed a Black Lives Matters movement, and how our very humanity has been influenced to need that movement. At the same time, we are grateful that we have that support, and we recognize that Martin Luther King has always been supportive of the Native people in his movement as well. And so today I'd like for us all to reach back, way back, to the original wave of humans that we are in, where we all share ancestors. And I'm going to sing a song that was passed to me by Malidoma Somé, calling in all those ancestors. These are the ancestors that came in with the spirituality that we're sharing, and they were here before the wounding. They were here when ancient people focused on food and shelter and being in community. So let's reach back and call them in with this song from Malidoma Somé and the Daguru people on the African continent. Join me if you'd like. Harasamane, 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 oh, Harasamane, oh, Haramamane, 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 oh, Haramamane, Harasamane, 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 oh, Harasamane, oh, Haramamane, 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 oh, Haramamane, oh. We indigenize our meetings, our gatherings, when we begin with a song. And I want to encourage you all to do that at every opportunity, and to use this ancient, powerful song to call in the ancestors to join every gathering. that you can do this in. And so I've chosen the song and the dance to reflect Martin Luther King's guidance, as well as our ancestral guidance through the dream world. And the first song that we're going to work with today is one of the first songs that came to me in the dream time. And it's called We Become One. And I want you to really listen and feel this connection with the element and with each other as you listen to this song. And here's Chief Phil at the perfect time. Welcome, Dekshi. We are so happy that you've come to share an opening prayer with us. We're so grateful to have you here with us today and on the live stream with your prayer for us. So I will turn the mic over to you, Chief Phil, if you are ready to bless us at this time.
Yes. Thank you so much, dear sister. Can you see me?
Yes. Well,
Okay. What's happened is my computer completely, every dimension is fried out. And here we go. Yeah, my computer, every dimension had gone out, so I couldn't get on. But through my good son's help and assistance, I had to use this computer of my beloved wife. So my apologies for not being here sooner. And I wanted to say I'm so thrilled to see what's unfolding. And I want to give my beloved Toja, Talaya, such great gratitude for what she's done, as well as Gail for you being in there. So if I may, I'll give this prayer. It's not quite at the beginning, but for us to really put our hearts and minds together. O te Kashla Wakantaka, Creator of the universe, most beloved one, all-powerful one, most kind one, most compassionate one, ever-forgiving one. O Ancient of Days, O Blessed Beauty, we call upon your holy power. And let us also open our hearts and minds to all our relatives, past, present, and future, who are closer than a closest fame. As we advance towards unifying our human family, ending war, and beginning peace on earth by 2030. The most beloved Creator, we just give thanksgiving this morning for this beautiful life we begin. And also remember, may we all remember all those relatives who are suffering today, wherever they may be, in prisons, out in the streets with no food to eat, in conflict and war, children who don't have mothers and fathers. All those relatives are human family who are suffering because we are not united, because we don't understand truly. We are one human family, and the hurt of one is the hurt of all. And the healing, the upliftment of one is the upliftment and healing of all. And we pray with our hearts, the depths of our soul, that Empathy Architects and all this work going on through all the presentations here of Martin Luther King, Enlightening Our Way Together, World Unity Week, celebration of peace on earth in September, whatever they be, whoever might give those that are uplifting our human family might be blessed with great beauty. And this beautiful, beautiful day, we call upon all the tribes and nations of the East, from where comes the red sunrise, to come together in unity and harmony and peace with their hearts and minds connected. And we call upon all the tribes and nations of the South, from where comes due life, to come together in unity and harmony and peace, and love, and compassion. We call upon all the tribes and nations of the West, from where comes thunder, lightning, and rain, that might awaken our souls and hearts to understanding reality that each of us is a sovereignty, ancient, imperishable, and everlasting. We call upon all the tribes and nations of the North, from where comes the white snow, the purifying north winds, to purify our hearts and minds So we become detached from all save our holy power, which is love and compassion and kindness and justice and forgiveness. And we humble ourselves as well before all the dimensions of Father Sky. And we ask forgiveness that these qualities that are part of us as human beings have been overbalanced and have brought us to almost completely destroying Mother Earth and our human family. But even more so, we humble ourselves before our beloved Mother Earth and her representatives, womankind. We ask through Empathy Architects and all the other wonderful work going on that truly the oppression has been going on for so long, countless centuries, be healed. And we awaken to the spiritual reality. The eagle, the condor, the quetzal, the hummingbird have only two wings. One man, one woman. That all those spiritual qualities of both might be uplifted and come into harmony and balance. We know without that there will be no peace on earth. But we also know when those are in harmony and balanced, we will, without question, achieve peace on earth. We also praying for my beloved Toja, Talaya, as well as Gail, and everybody here, Ingrid, my dear niece, John Raymer, Becky, all the people have made this possible. And every thought we have today, may it be a prayer of love and kindness, compassion. And we give thanksgiving to all beings. We know without question there is no death, just a change of worlds. Oh my God, unite the hearts of thy servants and reveal unto them thy great purpose. May they follow in thy commandments and abide in thy law. Help them, O God, in their endeavor, grant them strength to serve thee. O God, leave them not to themselves, but guide their steps by the light of knowledge and cheer their hearts by thy love. Verily, thou art their helper and their Lord. Hallelujah, chante washte alo shukmano he meado chidutasabag meado. Hallelujah, chante washte. Well, I thank you so much for your kind patience for me to arrive, and I want to sit and listen to the beautiful presentation. I know it's unfolding. Hallelujah, chante washte. Thank you so much.
Waste Pilamia. We will continue then to the first song. We were just about to play the first song that came to me in the dream world called We Become One. And then we're going to have a talking circle question for everyone to become interactive and share your experiences of fascination in your childhood when you were connecting with the elements of earth, air, fire, or water. Be thinking about that while you're listening and feeling the connections in this song that came to me in the dream world. Many years ago, in 2006, I had a dream of my great-grandmother, who is one of 3 grandmothers who goes back to our ancestral village here on the oldest mountain on Turtle Island, our sacred mountain, Adagul. And she handed me a record in a beautiful, peaceful, peach-colored valley. And it took me until 2019 to get all these songs out of the dream world, recorded, and I brought in as many musicians and friends as I could to join in collaboration and continue to do that today. The songs just show up in my dreams. I grab them and put them on a recorder just as quick as I can. And I've been able to teach other people to do this too. If you're interested in working with the dreams, and it is work, but it is so worth it because they come in the symbol and the image that the collective unconscious needs right now at this time. So as you listen to this song, think about your opportunity to share afterwards in the talking circle format. The question share an experience of fascination from your childhood as you connected with one of the elements of earth, air, fire, or water. And now I'll ask Pamela to play the video of this song called We Become One. And mute everyone, please. Thank you so much, Pamela. Thank you all for joining in that song with your rattles, your drums, your voice, your body, your sway. Any way that you join, we are welcoming you and happy to have all the movement. I have physicist friends who say anytime a native person speaks of spirit, the word is interchangeable with quantum physics. And that's the way we're working today. And in our classes, that's the way we will work with the quantum energy field. And if you want to know more about this, there's a beautiful book by Vine Deloria Jr., the one he actually wrote on his deathbed, called The World We Used to Live In. And he talks about, the practices of the plains people and the woodlands people. And my people are the woodlands people. And these songs go back to the woodlands ways. And at this time, we're not going to be in a full talking circle format because we are live streaming and we're recording. And ordinarily the talking circle has as one of the principles, what is said in the circle stays in the circle. So because we're agreeing to not be fully in the format of the talking circle, we'll give you an experience of some of the ways of the talking circles. And as you participate in this class, you will become familiar with them. You'll become comfortable with them, and then you'll have an opportunity to actually study the talking circle ways, as I did with Chief Phil and Joan Henry and those who have supported us so beautifully in bringing back these indigenous practices with Four Worlds University. So the talking circle format principles that we're able to follow today are: one person speaks at a time. We speak from our heart. We allow equal and just time for everyone. And no one speaks twice until everyone has spoken once. We do not cross talk, and we do not comment on another person's words. We don't have any put downs, and we don't speak negatively of ourselves or others. And these are a few of the principles that you will learn by engaging in the class. So our talking circle question is: share your experiences of fascination as a child when you engaged with earth, air, fire, or water, the elements that we are all made of. And as we explore this question, I will ask you to keep the pace and flow like the waterfall. Come one after another. If you want to comment, simply open your mic and respect about a minute. We've got enough people. We'd hope for 2 minutes, but 1 or 2 minutes just sharing directly from your heart your experience of fascination with engagement with the elements. And I'll begin by example. I'm holding the feather, and I will pass the feather to someone who wants to speak. If you will raise your hand or your electronic hand when I'm finished, I will pass the feather and call on each of you to speak if you would like to share. And it's okay to pass if you would not like to share. It's all good here. So my experience of fascination was as a child on the 50-acre farm that my Seligi mother was raised on. There was about 22 of us children, and all of us were children. All of her sisters and brothers were mothers and fathers. We were that directly engaged, and there was a little stream that came down from the mine, the Feldspar mine that was on our property, in the Moonstone, and also some beautiful minerals. So the water came by, and we would shake the jewelweed bushes when the blooms were mature. So we'd have those orange blossoms falling into the stream. And we were deer clan, so we would run along the stream and try to keep up with the blossoms as they came down the stream. And we would wear ourselves out doing that because we live in the mountains. So there's no easy, flat way of doing anything. And we would just fall into puppy piles pretty much after a little bit, an hour or so of doing that. And then the fireflies would wake us up at twilight, and we would catch the fireflies. And after jumping up and catching enough fireflies, we would feel the fire and the oneness throughout our bodies. We would feel the water and the fire as we engaged in these ways. And I would fall down on the grass and hold on to the grass when the stars became visible in the sky, because I could feel myself falling back into the stars where we came from. And I will pass this feather to anyone who would like to raise their real hand or their electronic hand. I'm not sure I can see everyone. So I'm gonna ask you to raise your real hand or your electronic hand if you'd like to share your experience of fascination. Russell, that's good. Yeah, come back in and be brave and go first, Russell. Thank you. Pass the feather to you. Unmute. You gotta unmute yourself.
Better.
Good.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Okay, so yeah, as in childhood, I always remember looking at the leaves on the trees. I remember the light through the leaves had power or something that I couldn't actually describe. And then I would turn my face to the sun and I would see the light through my eyelids. And at this time, in childhood, I was well aware that there's something much greater than me, and it's everywhere, and it's in me, and it's essentially me. And so I noticed that I was still. As a child, I noticed that I was still. There was no sound. There was no thought. There was no mind. There was nothing. It was just me and sun. And sun had a new word for me. Sun had, oh my goodness, it was undescribable. But from those moments on, I realized that I was never alone. Thank you.
Thank you, Russell. Peggy, did I see your hand up? Can I pass the feather to you? Just unmute yourself and speak. Just unmute yourself, Peggy. Just click on your mic.
Okay.
That's good, yeah. Oh, you clicked it back off. Sorry. Click on your mic again. Just click on your mic, Peggy, so we can hear you. Okay,
Laying in
now
the
speak.
grass. I spent a lot of time looking up in the clouds and drifting off into the clouds. I don't know how long. I would just notice I would be back at some point. And then I would roll over and look at all the little bugs crawling through the grass and just look in their world from the macrocosm to the microcosm. And one of my best memories is just walking barefoot on the warm earth and seeing that dust pillow up underneath my feet and just loving the earth with every step I took, watching my dad take a handful of soil and blessing it as he planted seeds, smelling it. I'm just so thankful to be here on this earth again and have this experience at this time. I love it. Thank you so much for hosting this.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you for sharing. Do I see another hand? Would someone else like to share their childhood experience of fascination very quickly so we can move on to our dance next? Okay, Suzanne.
I have a short one. My sister and I used to go to the Swiss Alps and in valleys and walking with the cows there, and they eat in the summer and stay in the summer up there. And I remember when we were lying on the grass, when it was night, and we saw the night sky and all the skies, we were looking together on a beautiful star constellations and stars, and we were guessing how far they are, or I can't remember what exactly we were talking about. It was a wonderful time, and I felt so happy with my sister and see this vastness of the universe we could see. It was just an amazing experience.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Suzanne. And I'm happy to pass the feather to anyone else. Pamela and Talaya. Talaya, yes, I'll pass the feather to you. And if you guys can see people that I can't see, please call on them. But now, Talaya, I'll pass the feather to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Gail. It took a while because it's been a while since I have to rewind back to my childhood days. But I do remember now the most incredible moment was when I started having chickenpox. And, it was starting to itch all over my body. And we had planned it to go to the beach. I was living in the southern Thailand in this town called Songkhla. And my parents weren't sure what to do. And I insisted that we go to the ocean, despite me being all covered all over with the poxes. And then I played in the water for hours. And then the next day I woke up and all cleared my skin. And so that was when I realized what medicine it is, Mother Nature. And I was very blessed and fortunate that I only got chickenpox for that one day. And so that is the most fascinating moment experience with our beloved Mother Earth and her medicine. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Talaya. Do we have any more quick sharing before we move on to our dance? Molly, do I see your hand up?
Yeah, I'll share as well. Hello, greetings all. Okay, so it's just a really short little thing that it happened. I was really little. I was about teenager, and I actually escaped for a night swim with the friends of mine. We all kind of arranged. So I live where I lived on the island. It was like 1 minute from the sea, so it's just really close to the sea. So few of us arranged to go for a night swim, and we went out. We came in a sea, and we realized there is bioluminescent, like glowing algae in the sea. And there was glowing algae in the sea and shooting stars in the sky. And I never looked at the world at the and I think it was worth the effort of it really changed our lives forever. Thank you, Gail, holding your session. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Molly. Okay, anyone else quickly before we dance? Pamela or Talaya? I don't see any hands, so if you see hands, I don't see.
Dekshi wants to share.
Good, please,
Yes.
Dick.
Can you hear me all right? Do I have my sound on?
Yes.
I was so fascinated when I was a little boy with insects. And we had moved in when I was about 4 years old to a little place called Umatilla, Oregon, right by there. It's right along the Columbia River. Very kind of desert area, but just so much life there. One of the things I loved to focus on was ants. I would have these ant hills and I would collect ants. I would take a Folgers coffee can and make it so that the ants would fall in there. And I'd take them home and try to create communities. Of course, the ants would get loose in my bedroom and all over the house. The other thing they had there, and I don't know why there was no fear, was black widow spiders. And they had these. This is out. They had I remember they had a big pipe. So we'd go in there and catch those black widows, and put them into jars, and of course feed grasshoppers. I know that sounds kind of brutal, but it was a little bite. But then the thing was, they make these nests. And so they made nests in there, but I didn't realize because you'd put in the top of this, sometimes in jars, and you could see them. We'd put little holes in them, but those little black widow spiders, even when they're born, they're tiny. They still have a bite, just like a black widow. So they start crawling out to the top of the thing. Of course, my mom ceased that really quickly. And then, there was I remember a slough. A slough is kind of in hot weather, kind of darker water. But in that slough were these beautiful turtles. you know, these snapping turtles, and then a lot of carp. And I don't know, I'd go out and try to, I'd go out and hunt those carp, great big fat carp. So I just loved it. That was my whole world. Butterflies, ants, especially ants. You watch ants, you know, and even if an anthill is just a little while apart, because they're protecting their queen, they fight. So you saw that whole dynamics. And of course, I was fascinated to be about that, what happened. So for me, it was the insect world, the world of insects. And then also, I remember we went to a hatchery one time to see how they had, you know, they hatch chickens. So I had to have day-old chickens. So I had these chickens going. So I had all, that was my whole thing. I loved the insects and chickens, and I had sheep and goats and you name it. So that I think that experience I had, I feel for our young people living in cities. They never get a chance to leave the city. They never get a chance to see the beautiful expanse of the whole circle of life. Because when you really get out there in those high plains, you look, and it's a circle. It's a beautiful circle. Of course, then you get in the mountains. I'd love to go fishing. So those are the things I loved. Last thing I want to share to remind us of this, and this was passed on to me by my brother Lee Brown. He said, you know, we represent the universe. Our legs are like the earth, they give us that stability. Above the lake, above the legs, which are the earth, is the lake, our stomach. And above the stomach is the wind, our breath. That's the wind. And there is a fire here out of the mind. So the earth are our legs. Above that's the lake, which is our stomach. Above that's the wind or the clouds, that's our lungs. And above that's the fire. It's the fire of our mind. So we'll just close with that.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Dexter.
Thank you.
And we'll move on now. Unless
We have Daniele, one last one.
okay.
From Daniele, please.
Thank you for that. That was wonderful. And thank you for this, Gail. It really reminded me that, you know, my intimate childhood experiences were, as many people know, with water and trees. So there was a grandmother willow tree and a creek at the bottom of my street. So that was the ages 5 and 7. So they were like my best friends. And then we moved to the United States and we lived in Neenah, Wisconsin. And I just remembered this. So I feel really grateful. Right across the street from where we lived was this big swamp, like a huge swamp with like really, really tall bulrushes and cattails and things. And nobody ever went there except me. And so, you know, as you walk through the swamp, your feet create the pathways. And I had little forts and spaces where I would talk with the plant people there. So yeah, just thank you for helping me remember the swamp and the marshlands and just the fertility that is in these places for us to engage with. So thank you.
Yes, thank you, Danalia. Okay, so in our class, we have the opportunity to do just what we did with 4 songs, and they're grouped in teachings about ancestors, oneness, mystery, and magic. And we will do the first series as the intro level, and then the second month, the second series will take us deeper into these teachings and into the talking circle format and into the sharing the way that we just shared. And it is so beautiful to feel those connections. So I'm grateful to all of you for being here with us today and working with the song. And now we're going to move on to the dance. And the dances are guided ritual transformation, which is a return to the human need for symbolic in our life, for meaning and for connection. So when we do these dances, we become one by all doing the same hand movements. And I'm going to step you through those hand movements. And then we have a 10-minute dance to do those hand movements with your video on or off, with your full body in a safe place, or remain seated and dance with your hands. However you're comfortable, we dance as community and we become one in these ways, and then we share our experience of the dance. And if we have time, we'll share a talking circle question first. And our talking circle question for you to be able to contemplate is, please share an example of wisdom through hidden power. Now think about that. The name of this dance is Balance Power, and it was inspired by John Trudell's teachings and Martin Luther King's teachings, and the very thing that we need to do the most today: step out of hierarchy and balance power. And you'll hear the guidance in the song, and you'll hear about hidden power as wisdom with the vulnerability. So keep that in your heart so that you can share with us after the song and the dance, and prepare yourself to dance together while I'm going to show you the movements. The first movement, actually I'm going to stand up here and show you the movements. So we always begin with our arms open. We're open arms to everyone. We're very inclusive in these dances. And then we start to feel the scales of balance, the balancing scales with our hands. We simply feel with our hands the balance, and you'll notice tendency to go back and forth, but then as your hands bring things into balance, you can start to step up with your heart when you're in balance. And so we'll step up with our heart, and then we'll take our hands to our second chakra, power center, and we'll clear the power center, inner and outer, inner and outer. And then the next movement will sweep away the past with our arms, just sweeping the energy. Remember our quantum physics energy, we're just going to sweep it and clear the past. Okay, and then when we feel that, we bring our hands to our heart and we push out. As we step up with our heart, we push out from our heart. And we acknowledge the weight of the world by feeling it, again with our hands on our shoulders. And then we have built energy in this guided ritual that we want to transform. So we're going to transform that energy into a spiral with our palms together. We're just going to move in a spiral with our palms together from over our head, our crown chakra or our 8th chakra where our soul resides, and back up down to our root chakra and back up. So join me if you would, please. We're going to stay in gallery mode. If you want to be sharing your dance, you'll keep your video on. And if you're not comfortable sharing your dance, then go ahead and turn your video off. And then after we dance, we'll hear about the experiences of everyone, and we'll have our talking circle question. So I ask Pamela to mute everyone and begin the recording for our dance, please, with loud music so we can dance.
Yeah, well, we can't hear the music yet.
Pamela, are you sharing the music? We haven't heard it yet.
You have to click share sound on your options. And you're muted, so I can't hear what you're saying.
So you have to unmute. That's it, Pamela. It's the Balance Power Dance.
Click unmute.
We, the common people of the world, step up to balance power. Humility is the teaching of the black race on this action from the heart. We are grateful to these ancestral people, the direction of the West, and the element of water. Our hands hold the balancing scales of justice. Stand up, way of dancing to also balance Earth. Honor the Earth and feel the real power when we sit quietly with her as our mother. We take our hands with these balancing scales to our own power center of our second chakra. We push energy down to the earth to ground ourselves and out to our sides to help us all balance power, inner and outer, inner and outer. Power must align within each of us. Dance this way for at least a full minute. Dust off the past abuses by swirling energy around the second chakra and call out abusive actions. Resist the simplest delusional urge to overpower another. Dark feminine seduction or marauding mama bear gives way to nurturing a woman's body as a bridge between two worlds, connecting through heart-based wisdom. Feminine energy the weight of the world so it's shared with equality amongst diversity, reaching to recognize teachers in higher realms with relationship. Dance this way for at least a full minute. Spiral palms facing above our head, back down to our own roots, centered and sovereign within community, opening portals for peace. Dance this way for at least another minute, please.
Stop share.
No, my little dog decided to make his dance debut with the wolves and with the dance power dance. I'm so happy to have him join us. And I want to invite all of you to take a drink, take a breath, take whatever you need to get comfortable, but look at your face, look at your smile, look at your eyes, look at your transformation from the dance, and look at all those around you. How much more energy. And I am sad to remind you that in the late 1800s, we would have faced 6 months in prison for dancing together like this in our ancestral ways. So we are very grateful to have this opportunity to do these rituals together today in this way. And I want to encourage all of you, or any of you, to share your experience of the dance while it's fresh in your heart right now. Just speak from your heart as quickly and briefly as you can, because we only have about 10 minutes left to share. Oh, Stephanie, are you raising your hand to share from the
I am. As soon as the dance started, I started to have a sense of my personal boundaries dissolving. I had my personal boundaries, but I also felt them dissolve. And then as the part where we were pushing out from our heart, what came through for me was mercy, just mercy. So I'm complete. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie. Who shall I pass the feather to next, or just open up your mic and speak?
Yeah, Tree Child would like to speak.
Okay, Tree Child, pass the feather to you.
Hi, I'm so grateful. I feel like I dropped a lot during the part of letting go of the things that harmed us in the past. And then when I was holding the earth, it became lighter and lighter and lighter to hold the earth. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you, Tree Child. Suzanne?
When I danced and moved above the earth and see the galaxy, it was wonderful, a healing feeling, and I felt I'm with the healing feeling with all of you. That was wonderful.
Oh,
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah. Molly, did I see your hand?
No, but I'll share. Yeah, I had a very strong feeling of spiraling energies for peace. And I felt connection in between each hearts, like one by one. It was sharing, spiraling between each one and to the next person and then to the next person. So that one was coming to me. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you, Molly. Okay, anyone else want to share their experience of the dance before we move on to our talking circle question? Again, the dog wants to speak and join us. So, Pamela and Tula, am I missing? Oh, Peggy, did you want to share your experience of the dance? Or are you ready for the talking circle? Did you want to share your experience of the dance? You need to unmute. Can't hear you. Peggy, are you going to unmute and share your experience of the dance? Just hit your mic. Is there anyone else I'm not seeing that would like to share their experience of the dance? Ingrid? Yes?
Yeah, I really was aware on the first part of the inner and outer balancing of power that I have some confusion, that there is places in me that wonder, is this mine? Is it somebody else's? Like whose is this? and if it shows up in my space, I just automatically assume I have to take responsibility for it, which is good, but sometimes that is a burden too. And so it was a balancing of a recognition of, I could feel the increasing awareness of being able to be more relaxed with that, of just observing that balance and that discernment. And then in the sweeping away, I immediately started to cry. And I, asked, like, what is this? I wasn't even sure. And it didn't matter. It just needed to release and to let go. And in the heart of balancing, the balancing of the power, both in this way and in pushing out from the heart and recognizing that there was resistance. I could feel the tension in my system of like how contracted it felt at first, and to move it out further. And then the lifting of it to be able to lift the responsibility so that it is shared and that it is something that we are able to take accountability for within all of us, recognizing that we are all responsible for where we are now and where we are going. I can feel it in my hands even right now, that there is so much here, so much here. And in the spiral, I automatically, it's interesting because my body just automatically wanted to go one way on the way down and then come back up the other way that mirrored it. And it wasn't as if I was doing it consciously. It was more like I was stepping into a flow of something that already existed. And then just allowing myself to be a part of that and to strengthen with the flow that's already there by intentionally aligning with it. So thank you for that opportunity and the guidance. It was gorgeous.
Oh, beautiful. Yes, thank you, Ingrid. Okay, if anyone else really wants to share, we go really quickly, or we'll move on to our talking circle question. Peggy, did you get your mic off? Did you want to
I
share?
think I did.
Okay,
It's a
good.
microphone on now. So I'm not very used to the Zoom meetings, but the flow of energy that was present, which is always present in my hands, but it was just such a beautiful way of flowing with the whole, with the one. It was just very, very touching and strong. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, thank you all. And I hope that you will all join us in the class starting on the 24th of January. Pamela, am I not seeing anyone's hand? Is there anyone else that I'm missing? Okay, we'll move on to our talking circle question, which will bring us back to the balancing power and a little more perspective. Share your experience of hidden wisdom and vulnerability. And I will lead by example. We'll go as quickly as we can, a minute or two at the most. But I remember in the 80s, we were allowed to do our ghost dance again for the first time after many, almost centuries, I guess. And we were allowed to dance in the Civic Center here in the Kadua celebration of that dance. And Grandmother Raven was a wisdom keeper. And I remember being in the room with her, room full of people, and she was sharing our ways. And at one point they laughed. And she said very sweetly, calmly, but solemnly and powerfully, if you need to laugh at our ways, this is a good time for you to leave. And that room just rocked with respect. And nobody left. And that is the hidden power with vulnerability that I want to encourage us to step into today with this energy from our dance, from gathering in this ritual way. So I'm ready to pass the feather if someone else has an experience of hidden power and vulnerability that they would like to share. It's a tough topic, and if there's no one who has anything to share, I can understand that. We'll go through it again in the class when we do the class with the dances. Okay. Oh, I see some hands coming up now. Okay, Stephanie, do I see your hand?
What came up for me is I would like to practice it more, but it is a practice that I have practiced, and I value it. And that is to remember to go beneath and deeper than the pain, the suffering, to find one's place beneath things which are, I'm not quite sure how to categorize it, but that we can find our peace and strength going deep within. I'm complete.
Thank you, Stephanie. And Russell, did I see your hand?
Yes.
Okay, I'll pass the baton to you.
Okay, so there was a time when I was having, was it one day actually, I was having trouble understanding a concept in geometry, and math was really my strong subject. And so I asked the teacher, and she didn't really help. So that night, I that night, I woke up in the middle of the night around 3 o'clock in the morning, and I just got up, and I wasn't like thinking that I'm going to fix something, but I just got up and I started working on that geometry problem, and the answers just came. And the voluntary, being vulnerable is the part where I had to just surrender and let it go completely. And then it comes to me. So now so now from that, I got that I can teach myself, but it's not me that's doing the teaching. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you, Russell. Suzanne, did I see a real quick share?
Some years ago, I was on a afternoon seminar with Marilyn Black Elk. She was in a Basel region part in Switzerland, and we had a circle, a round circle for sharings, and she said she's using a sound each time when somebody finished their talk. And that was my first experience how that is to be acknowledged, and acknowledge everybody in the same way. So there's nobody be more acknowledged than the other. It was very just acknowledged. And there were some people I thought, and she just acknowledged, and then it was wonderful. That's an experience of a grandmother who leads a circle with justice and calmness from the heart. It was marvelous to be with, to be with everybody there.
Thank you, Suzanne. Yeah, it's beautiful. So we've experienced the beautiful ways we can share with the Talking Circle format. Tree Child, I see your hand. We're over our time, but we're going to run as quickly as we can, just a little bit over. I think we started a little late too. So Tree Child, if you'd like to share, go ahead.
I teach Reiki, and I've been teaching for is sharing my personal healing stories with my students. And I find that to be like the best way to teach. And it's incredibly vulnerable.
Yes. Yes. Thank you, Tree Child.
Thank you.
And this is the way we will teach these classes on EmpathyArchitects.life. Please put your email in the chat. I think we've got some links in the chat as well. And there's one of those QR code things coming up on the screen. If you know how to do that, there it is. Take a picture of that little box with your phone, and apparently that will take you there to sign up for our classes. And we're not doing the dance classes yet. We're starting out with the song classes. So we'll start on January 24th. They'll be on Tuesday evening, 5 o'clock Eastern time. And you are all very welcome. You can sign up at EmpathyArchitects.life for ancient Selagi teachings that come from songs in the dream world. And I'm going to thank all of you with much love and gratitude in my heart, and sing us out with a gratitude song that I'll invite you to join me if you'd like. A gratitude for walking this red road in the Lakota sacred songs. Wehaya, heya, wehaya, heya, wehaya, oh, hey. Sankalu tau damawan yellow, sinkasla, sila maya yellow, hey. Sanfakile ha, kilo, sinkasla. Kunkasala, Sila Maya Yellow, hey. haya, hey ya, we haya, hey ya, we haya, oh hey. Trong cái lũ đào nam màu yellow, chim khai sla, đi la maya yellow hey. Trong cái lễ hoa, chế thì lo chim khai sla, đi la maya yellow hey. And you're all, of course, welcome to stay longer if you'd like, but I think we probably need to say thank you and until again. Unless Talaya and Chief Phil would like to say some parting words, which of course we're always open to. I know Talaya's sleepy. It's her the middle of the night.
It is 1 a.m. here in Bangkok, and I'm feeling so vibrant from the dance. I thank you all for your company and your beautiful energy that you bring with you. We really look forward to welcoming you in our classes. And yes, EmpathyArchitects.life. Drop us a line, and we look forward to connecting with you to deepen the process of going within and uniting in oneness. Thank you, everybody.
Thank
Thank you, Toja. Thank you so much. You know, I'm having a difficult time doing this iPad of my son's, so it's hard to do it. But anyway, thank you so much. So I love the gentleness, the softness and gentleness that you brought. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dakshi. Yes, I want to encourage everyone to explore 4 worlds, Indigenous universities, and learn about the different ways of teaching and the different ways of learning that we are sharing with the world. Empathy Architects is a doorway to 4 Worlds Indigenous University, and we all are so grateful to Chief Phil for making all of this possible and bringing us all together in this way through the Talking Circle teachings. So, until again, much love and gratitude. Dona Doga.